Hello students, today we are going to discuss the second chapter of Civics, Understanding Secularism. In the previous chapter, we discussed the key features of the Indian Constitution and one of them is secularism. In this chapter, we are going to discuss this particular feature in detail. There are many countries in the world which support a particular religion, like Sri Lanka favors Buddhism, England supports Christianity, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia favors Islam. But there are others who are following secularism. The question is why there is a difference. Why such countries are following secularism? To clear this concept, imagine a situation where you believe in the ideology of Hinduism and you want a house on rent, admission in an educational institute, or a job in any of these countries. But you are denied it just because of your religion. How will you feel? Definitely you will feel resentful or angry. And in this resentment, you may take either of the two decisions. The first possibility of the decision may be that you want to behave with them in the same way as they have done with you. This type of feeling is called retaliation. But it will not sort out anything, rather create a dangerous situation. The second possibility may be that you want justice for all those people who are being exploiting like this, and you want no one should be discriminated on religious basis. This is the basic idea why some of the countries or democratic countries follow secularism. You must also consider why such a situation rises up in some of the countries. The problem arises when one group of society with similar interests or religion or culture, language promotes a false belief that they are better than the other groups and they cannot live together and try to establish domination over the other groups of society. And because of this feeling, they become hostile to others. And if such type of groups come in power and gets political favor, they become more hostile. This feeling is communalism. That's why the problem becomes more acute when this belief is expressed in politics and the state is used to present one religion superior to others and seen as the basis of the nations. It may take the ugly form of intergroup violence, definitely when one particular group in society does not want to live other groups, there will be intergroup violence, communal riots, and even the partition of the country. As our country has already experienced communal riots and the partition into India and Pakistan before 1947. Even when there was Hitler's rule in Germany, the Jews were discriminated and excluded from equality from their territory and even killed in gas chambers. In Saudi Arabia also, non-Muslims are neither allowed to build a temple, church, nor gathering in a public place for prayers. It means these countries favor non-secularism or they have their own official or the state religion. The makers of the Indian Constitution were aware of such problems as of the communal riots and violence in future also. That's why they want to respect all religious communities equally and they wanted justice for all. They were aware many other problems because of this particular religion in society that becomes a major group, and if it gets political power, it may exploit the fundamental rights of others. That's why, to avoid such situations in future, the chose the model of secularism, means they separated religion from the state for a country like India with diverse religions to avoid tyranny of the majority, unlike Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Germany during the Hitler's. Now, you must have understood what is the meaning of secularism. It is separation of religion from the state. And why is it important to separate religion from the state in democratic societies? It is to avoid domination of the majority over the other minority groups that has happened in Hitler's rule and in Pakistan or many other countries. It is also essential to function the country democratically, because sometimes the majority group that is of a different religion may stop some other people from following a particular religion that is not a democratic idea. And in a democracy, everybody is free to follow any religion because they all are considered equal irrespective of their religion, their caste, or their gender. That's why a democratic society cannot stop a person from following a particular religion. In the same way, secularism is essential to protect the freedom of the individuals. It means everybody is free to exit from his or her religion or not to follow any religion. He is free to embrace or convert himself to another religion or to interpret some religious teachings, because sometimes there are some social evils in the society because of some religious practices, and a person who wants to reform the society, he has to reinterpret the religious text in his own way to convince the people to stop that particular practice, like parda pratha, it may be sati pratha, or many other child marriage. And it is essential to free that person to interpret that particular text in his own way. It means secularism is essential part of a democratic society. That's why India has also adopted secularism. According to the Indian Constitution, only a secular state can realize its objectives to ensure the following. The first one is, the first guarantee that secularism gives to its citizens is one religious community does not dominate another. Here again, the Jews were discriminated in Germany during Hitler's rule, where the Aryans were considered superior to others. Even in Sri Lanka, the followers of Buddhism are considered superior to others. It means it is not a democratic system. Every person is free to follow his or her religion in his own way, and a secular country, a secular system can give this freedom to that person. No religious community is allowed to dominate another group on the basis of its majority in a country, because in every society diversity is there, and it means in every society there are a mixture of people, of a mixture of cultures, a mixture of religions there. It means no society can be separated just on the basis of its religion. The second objective of secularism is some members do not dominate others of the same religious community. It is not necessary that the members of a particular religion dominate the members of only other religion. It may be possible the members of the same community of same religion dominate their own people. For this, the Hindu society is divided into the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. The Shudras are also part of the Hindu religion, but still they were discriminated, they were exploited, and were considered untouchables. It means a secular country, a secular state can't give freedom to dominate the other members of the same religious community. The third objective is the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individuals. In whatever way they want to practice their religion, they want to follow their religion, they are free to do so. The next point is, what are the ways or strategies followed by Indian constitution to prevent the domination of the majority over the minority group? The first strategies is to maintain a distance from religion. It means the state will maintain a distance from all the religions, no rule by any religious community. The constitution can't give any religious community to rule just because of their majority in the country. The second is no support to any religious group, and the state will not support any religious group to grow, and it will maintain a space by the space will be maintained by the government, the law courts, police stations, government schools, and hospitals. You know, there is a holiday on every religious festival. Why it is so? It is just because to maintain a distance from all the religions. Because the government institutions are not allowed, are not supposed to celebrate any religious festival in their buildings, because no religion should think that the state is favoring any particular religion. The second strategy is of non-interference. It means the state will not interfere in the matters of religion. It will give respect to the sentiments of all the religions, and it will not interfere with the religious practices. In whatever way they are praying their God, they are wearing their dress according to their religion, they are wearing head caps, head scarves, or a pagadi, they are not supposed to stop from doing this. And how the state gives respect to their sentiments? For this, as the Sikhs are not allowed to wear helmets during driving. Why? Just because to give the sentiment, to give the respect to their sentiment that they have to wear pagadi according to their religion. The third strategy is the strategy of intervention. In the second point, we discussed that the state will not interfere in their matters, but here I am saying that the state will intervene in their matters. How is it possible? The state will interfere in their matters only when there is a question of social evil, when there is the question of exploitation of the fundamental rights of particular group of the society. Here, as you know, the Indian government has banned triple talaq, or the sacrifices of human beings, or the dowry system, just to stop these practices Why? Because they were exploiting the fundamental rights of a particular group of society just because of their religion. It means the state can interfere to give, to help that particular group their fundamental rights. It is not so that the state will intervene only in a negative way. It can also support a particular religion by giving them grants to set up their own schools and colleges, and by giving them financial aids. The Indian constitution or Indian secularism works in three ways to prevent the domination of the majority: by maintaining a distance from the religion, by following a strategy of non-interference, and by strategy of interventions. Now we are going to come of secularism in India and the USA. There are some similarities in all the countries who are following secularism, but still there are differences also. So, what is the similarity between the secularism in India and that of the USA? The constitution does not allow the state to laws to respect an establishment of religion, means the state cannot declare any religion as the state religion or the official religion. This is the similarity between India and the secularism of the USA. But still there is a difference. The difference is that the USA separates the state from the religion strictly. There is no interference in the matters of religion, but the Indian state does not separate religion strictly. It maintains a principled distance. What is the meaning of principled distance? It means it will interfere, it will intervene, as I have earlier told you, in the matters of the religion only when it is the question of the fundamental rights, it is the question of the exploitation of some groups of societies only because of the religious practices. It means this is the basic difference between the secularism in India and the principles of secularism are as a standard to measure whether the country is working in a secular way or not. Now we are going to discuss secularism in France. In February 2004, France passed a law to ban students from wearing any noticeable religious signs or political signs or symbols. But the immigrants from the former French colonies, means where earlier French people were ruling them, like Algeria, Tunisia and Morocco, the students criticized this law because they used to wear head caps, head scarves, and even if the Sikhs were studying there, they were wearing pagdi. But the French did not allow them to wear such religious signs, and breaking this law, they were expelled from the schools. Now I am going to make you recall what we have studied till now. In this chapter, we discussed why it is important to separate religion from the state in democratic societies, what is Indian secularism, and what are the guarantees given by the constitution being a secular state to its citizens, how Indian secularism adopts some strategies to prevent domination. It maintains distance from all the religions. It does not allow any religion to rule. It adopts a strategy of non-interference in in the matters of religions, of their practices, but still it respects the sentiments of all the religions. And even there are some personal laws in India. These are those laws that are based on the religion of some groups of society where if it is